rammed through new laws that would allow people to be detained indefinitely. Again, these people have committed no crime. And secondly, that the Minister can now review someone's refugee status at any time. The Minister can now say, sorry, you're not a refugee anymore, go home. That law that takes away any certainty for refugees, which makes refugee status a temporary thing that can be changed at the whim of the Minister, and which makes indefinite detention lawful. Both big parties agreed to that.
It's heartbreaking that we still have to gather after so many years of calling for basic human rights to be respected by our government for people who have committed no crime in seeking asylum from this country, something that Australia signed up to do. We've done not much else in the last 10 odd years but trash that international reputation, trash people's human rights and inflict cruelty and harm on innocent men, women and children. And it breaks my heart because I don't think that's what Australians are like. And sadly, that's what our government, and just this week in the Senate, also our opposition, have voted to continue and to get worse. Just when you think they can't find a new low and like they're as cruel as they already can be, because it's already heartbreaking and disgusting enough, they managed to find a new low this week to get around a recent court case. They just rammed through new laws. On Thursday afternoon in the Senate, they passed a special motion called the guillotine motion, which means that Nick McKim, who's our Greens immigration spokesperson, got to speak for 10 minutes and then the clock ran out. There was no time to debate amendments. They rammed it through the Parliament in the space of about half an hour all up. And that's a new law that says indefinite detention is legal. The second part of that law says that even if you were granted refugee status because you had a valid claim of persecution, you feared for your life in your own home country, and therefore are recognised as a refugee, this new law that's just passed the Parliament says that's only temporary. It can be revised at any time. The Minister for Immigration can just tick a box and say, no, you're not a refugee anymore. Sorry, if you've put your roots down, you've been living here for decades, you've started a family, you've been working, you are in fact an Australian, sorry, you're not a refugee anymore, see you later. Essentially, they've turned every refugee into a temporary status. You know how they love temporary protection visas, which is the biggest misnomer in the universe because there's no protection provided under that status at all. It's incredulous. The Parliament is completely out of step with Australian values on this one. We're locking up people here in this facility who deserve to have a safe life here in our nation. We are one of the wealthiest countries in the world. We don't have a great human rights track record for our own First Nations people, and I acknowledge that we're on stolen land because sovereignty was never ceded. But we did sign that Human Rights Convention, we signed that Refugee Protection Convention, and we are not following through on it. This government is not following through on it. And I think that's out of step with what the community wants. So I'm here once again after nigh on 10 years of being here. Full credit to the Refugee Action Collective, to Mark, to Freddie, to everyone who always organises these events. I'm so sorry that the government has been not listening to your concerns and to the concerns of so many others who, you know, once they meet someone seeking asylum, they realise we're all the same and they would do exactly the same in any situation. You do what you have to keep your family safe. Every human being would do that. And we have more in common with people seeking asylum than we do with the fat cats in Parliament who are inflicting torture and mental illness and physical illness on innocent human beings. It's a crime in my view, and I think history will regard it as such. So free the refugees, it's been too long. For heaven's sake, let's give these people the safety and the freedom that they deserve, that at international law they are entitled to, not in our name. And I'll finish off by making the point that the government is spending millions of dollars. It's almost $4 million per refugee and asylum seeker that they're spending on locking up these people. You know, we could be not torturing people and spending money on building homes for people that don't have any. There are so many good things that the government could do if they stopped pandering to fear and racism and division and thought that that was how they win elections. It's an absolute crime that refugees and asylum seekers are being used as political pawns in this phony war where this government thinks that being cruel will somehow win them votes. They're wrong about that. And let's make sure that they're proven wrong about that by consigning this cruel government to the dustbin of history.